Yes, guys, welcome back to the 90 More Podcast. My name is Kossi. These are my final Premier League predictions. I've done it again. 4 weeks into the season, it's all over. I want to go back. I want to revise these predictions. 20 in their order. Number 20, I've gone with Luton Town. They don't have the quality. They didn't add any players on deadline day. And the players that they have, they're simply not Premier League levels. Now, probably they will not have the worst season like Norwich City or West Brom, but I don't expect them to go above 20 points this campaign. Luton Town will go back, and their squad, in my opinion, does not inspire me to even think when they go back, they will actually come back straight up. I think they're a club that has, been promoted. They have, enjoyed the excitement. They will enjoy the time in the Premier League. And when they go back, it will take them a very long time without coming back to the Premier League. Number 19, I've gone with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Had tipped them to stay up, courtesy of the appointment of O'Neill, but I just don't see the quality. Now, the problem with Wolverhampton Wanderers are the goals. Where are the goals gonna come from? Sasa Kaladzic and Matthias Cunha, that's not a duo that actually keeps you in the league. Now, if you look at Southampton last campaign, you look at Jay Adams and Adam Armstrong, that is not a duo that actually keeps you in the Premier League. But I tell you what, I think Wolverhampton Wanderers' striking force is worse than that of Southampton. I could be wrong, but I'm not wrong about them going down. Number 18 is Everton. I had tipped them to stay up, courtesy of Sean Dyche. I really think they might stay up. They will really surprise many people, but they will surprise many people by going down. Now, the problem with Everton is not learning from the mistakes they have committed, but also not using that kind of chance they have been getting as well. You've survived relegation 2 times. You've got to change the way you do things, bring in some good investments as well. I don't think Everton have done enough. I really don't think they've done enough. The way they've started the campaign as well. Sean Dyche is a master at making sure you don't go down, but you must back him. They trust him. The fans actually love him, but Everton, I fear for them. I really, really do. Number 17, Sheffield United. They will be oscillating between 17, 16, 18, but I think they will be all right. Now, the reason why I've gone with Sheffield to stay over Everton, number 1, I like the introduction of Cameron Archer. But number 2, actually, I really like the fact that Sheffield United are playing proper football, and they're playing football that actually allows you believe they'll stay in the Premier League. They're here to mean business. They're here to pick up points when they actually, when it actually matters. The game that I watched between them and Everton communicated a lot to me. They mean business. They're willing to fight to the end. Now, they should have picked up a point against Manchester City. Like, can you believe what I just said? They should have picked up a point against Manchester City. If it is not one for one defensive error at the end of the game, and also not missing so many chances as well, they could have won that game. They could have walked away with a point against Man City. And also at home, they are a much better side. Actually, I've been impressed by Sheffield United better and more than I'm impressed by Burnley. Although I thought Burnley would actually put in a very great shift this campaign. Number 16 is Burnley. It's one of my declines already. Of course, I've had a couple of declines. Wolves into relegation and Everton into relegation. My next decline is Burnley. Uninspiring performances that do not guarantee that this team is ready for the Premier League. But I'll tip them to stay up, courtesy of Vicente Kompany. My problem with Burnley is they've come into the Premier League and they have totally abandoned the principles that actually brought them into the Championship. The football is very, very disorganized. I don't like the way they defend. They're conceding a lot of goals, and you just don't see where the goals are going to come from. You just don't see them, win a game 3-1, win a game 3-2. It might get better, especially if they change the system, if Kompany actually works around the system. But at the moment, if you're a Burnley fan, you might actually be thinking about relegation early this time. And I think it's going to be a long season for them than we anticipated. Number 15 is Bournemouth. I've actually graduated them from that relegation fiasco to around mid-table safety. Bournemouth, I like them. I really like the way they actually work. I like the way they operate. But what I like about them is that overall change and that overall realization that we are no longer new graduates to the Premier League. We are actually, a second season team. So what they've actually done is they've become a little bit more compact, and that has actually not affected the way they score goals. So I think Philip Billing is going to be a key player for them. Still, I think the signings they have made are also quite very, very relevant and very quality. I like the signing of Justin Kluivert just for the fact that he's a Kluivert. But I don't think they will be above 15, but I think they will be safe. The new manager has brought a new playing system, and you love it. It's absolutely very, very good. If Bournemouth survive relegation this campaign, next campaign, they will be in the top 10. That's a huge take, but it requires them to stay in the Premier League for now. In number 14 is Fulham. I think they will actually drop a level. Now, I think I like the way they've started. Silva as a manager is one to give a lot of credit to, because when you don't have Mitrovic, you don't have your perennial target man, that kind of guy that just makes things happen. We were talking about Mitrovic with my producer, and he literally scored a hat-trick within 30 minutes for Serbia. That is the kind of lion this guy is. Without Mitrovic, we thought they would struggle. They will struggle, there's no question about that, but I like the way players like Di Cordova-Reid have actually stepped up, and they're becoming a much better side. They're becoming an organized unit, even without Alexander Mitrovic. But they have the quality to actually match the performances they put in last campaign? They do not. Do they have the quality to actually challenge the way they did last campaign? I don't think they have the quality, but I think this coming summer is going to be a very key one for them. If they can actually stay up in the Premier League, recruit well in the 2024 summer, Fulham will be alright. Fulham could be in the Premier League like for a very long period of time. They could replace Everton. If Everton go down, we could have Fulham replace them as one of those long-serving Premier League sides, obviously. At number 13 is Nottingham Forest. They've started very well. You look at the performances against Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge, the good performance they put in at the Emirates Stadium on opening day, although they didn't win that game, they will be alright. They will definitely be alright. Now, Stephen Cooper, the genius that he is, he has realized that when you are playing Premier League football, you don't have to keep the ball lots of the time, but also you don't have to give your opponents a lot of spaces to run into. Like, what are you doing? He has shifted to a back five, and it's actually working out very well. But I like the signing of Ibrahima Sangare on deadline day. That one is gonna prove very important. They brought in Elanga. They have Morgan Gibbs-White. Ibrahima Sangare is levels of, I think he's a top 6 defensive midfielder. He would start at Liverpool ahead of Endo. He would start at Chelsea right now ahead of all that Caicedo, Lavia, signing that they have made and it's not working out yet. He would start, probably not ahead of Bissouma, but he would start alongside Bissouma for Tottenham Hotspur. So Sangare is a true realization of where Nottingham Forest see themselves in the future, but also what they want to do. So you look at a team bringing in Morgan Gibbs-White for 40 million, Ibrahima Sangare, top quality signing, Anthony Elanga, Taiwo Awoniyi is gonna be key for them. If you didn't watch that video when we were reviewing Matchday 4, you need to watch it, because I talked about Taiwo Awoniyi and how important this guy is for Nottingham Forest. 13, they will be alright. And my prediction for them, my hot take for them, they will beat Manchester City this campaign. They will. They did get a point against them at home. They did beat Arsenal last campaign. They will beat Manchester City this campaign. I mean, it's a prediction. Number 12 is Crystal Palace. They're always there. 10, 11, 12. I think they will be alright. Now, my problem with Palace has not been solved. They don't have that extra squad depth. They don't have the flesh beyond the starting 11. Eberechi Eze is going to be key for them. He's already started very well. Odson Edward, in terms of getting the goals, is going to be very key for them. And without Wilfred Zaha, players like, Michael Olise should step up. And they will step up because Crystal Palace always step up. Now, they're a very hard team to beat at the Sellers Park. I think they will get a couple of points, around maybe 21, 22 points at the Sellers Park. And they could get around 25 points at, away from home on the road. Just around maybe 50, maybe 47 points around there. And that should keep them 11, 12, but I've gone with for them in 12 because they are always there, and they are not a team that is aspiring to add a lot of quality, and they're also not a team that is looking to drown themselves. So you look at them keeping Eze, that was key on deadline day, keeping Michael Olise, that was key, and the signing of Matthias França is gonna be very key without Wilfred Zaha. In number 11 is West Ham. I should have put them a little bit higher, but when you look at the teams in the top 10 for me, their quality is unprecedented and undisputed. So West Ham, I put them in 11 because they do have that Europa League, and after winning the UEFA Conference League, David Moyes can actually think, let's go, boys. Let's go for the Europa League. I like the way they have used the money for Clan Rice, right? The fact that they have actually brought in Edson Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, and then, I like the signing of James Ward-Prowse. It just makes them a balanced side. It just makes them a much better side. Their midfield with Paqueta, James Ward-Prowse, and Edson Alvarez looks like prime. You remember that Liverpool midfield of Jadon Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago Alcantara. So in Thiago Alcantara, you have the creativity, which you have in Paqueta. In Edson Julian Alvarez, you have that defensive ability to protect your back four, which you get in Fabinho. And then Jordan Henderson is your James Ward-Prowse. Just moving the ball around, just making sure that there is always that mobility in the middle of the pack. But one thing you will love about West Ham this campaign, they have a free kick and dead ball specialist. That guy, James Ward-Prowse, is going to win them some very important points. Chelsea know what I'm talking about here. Now, it's time for the top 10. In number 10, I've gone with Brentford. They just don't, they don't seem to end to amuse me and amuse the people in the Premier League. Brentford do not have Ivan Toney until January, or probably February actually. And that actually means that they should be declining in the way they score goals and in the way they create chances and the way they generally play. But that guy, Bryan Mbeumo, is becoming a problem for us in the Premier League. The addition, of course, of players, in this summer was not very good for Brentford. So their squad depth will suffer a little bit, and they will suffer courtesy of their squad depth. But Johan Wissa and Bryan Mbeumo, those are two players that are going to keep them safe, and they should be above that bottom half of the table. Number 10, number 9, there is where I expect them. The goals are coming in. They don't concede, stupid goals. It's one of the things that, Thomas Frank has worked on as a manager. They will be in the top 10. Number 9, one of my declines as well is Aston Villa. I'm just not convinced anymore. I'm just not convinced about Unai Emery and the way he wants to open up his team to concede huge number of goals. Like 3 against Liverpool, 5 against Newcastle. It's uninspiring, right? They could go on to win the Europa League, but I'm not convinced, right? They're not a shambles, they're not abysmal. I'm going to go for them in position 9. I just don't know whether it's the injuries that have actually affected them. Tyrone Mings, getting that early injury in the campaign could be one of the factors. But I'll put them in position 9. I won't be surprised if they pick up their form and claim maybe position 7 or 8. But 9 is a safe prediction for me. Number 8 is Newcastle, another decline in my predictions. 3 losses out of the possible 4 games they've played already. Someone explain what's going on with Eddie Howe's Newcastle. Defensively, I don't think they're up to the task. In the midfield, I don't think they're governing games enough. And in terms of scoring the goals, there's a question. Alexander Isak is good, but is he relevant? 2 big questions. The same question I would ask for a team like Brighton. You have a player like Welbeck, who actually is good in your system, but is he that relevant in terms of being a striker? So with Newcastle, with Champions League coming up, they have Milan, they have PSG as well in that group, and it's gonna be a lot tougher than they expect. So if they are losing games before the Champions League starts on the 20th of September this month, I don't know what's going to happen with Newcastle, but I'll put them in 8th, and I think their squad depth is not there yet. I don't think they are already at the point where they can swap player per player at this level. And for you to compete in the UEFA Champions League, as well as in the Premier League and all these other competitions, with matches stretching from 90 minutes to 100 minutes, you will have to actually have a good depth in squad. I don't think they have that. Number 7 is Chelsea. Chelsea, from 12th last campaign to 7th is kind of a jump, but is it the kind of jump that Chelsea fans are waiting for? Now, Chelsea could actually become better. I've looked at one of their key metrics this campaign, and they're having a lot of possession, they're having a lot of shots on goal, but their conversion rate and the quality of chances and quality of shots is just not there. So you're having 19 shots on goal, 2 on target, 26 shots on goal, 8 on target, and those 8 on target are actually very, very weak shots. Chelsea will need a season to come around. I think Mauricio Pochettino should use this campaign to understand his players better, to know who is better at what, who actually gets into my best 11, and what is the kind of identity I want Chelsea to pick up as a side. At the moment, I really think Chelsea will not be in the top 5. I just don't see them in the top 5, but they might just crawl into that UEFA Conference League, position. They might be there, right? It's embarrassing for Chelsea, but they might be there. If they exponentially improve this campaign, I will be very surprised. And my prediction actually is Chelsea will concede 5 goals in one game this campaign. They will lose a game after conceding 5. It could be against Aston Villa, it could be against Newcastle, it could be against Arsenal, it could be against Manchester City. They will concede 5 this campaign. Defensively, Disasi and Thiago Silva, that is not a partnership that is promising to work out. Going up front, Jackson is not a number 9. Guys, let's agree on this. Nicholas Jackson is not a proper number 9. As simple as that. Number 6 is Brighton. They don't seem to be on the decline anytime soon. Dizabi said they have already forgotten about McAllister and Caicedo, and that is absolutely true. You look at the way Joao Pedro has fit into this side. You look at the signing of Mahmoud Daoud on a free, James Milner, but then this guy Baleba, we've not seen him, obviously, but we know he's good because he's been signed by Brighton. So I want to see Baleba how he actually gets into this side. I want to see how Pascal Gross adapts into playing into the midfield every single time. They will be all right. Yes, they have that Europa League football that might actually affect them, but they will be absolutely all right. In number 5, I've gone with Manchester United. They have a problem. They do have a crisis at the moment, but Erik ten Hag, in him, I trust. I love the guy. Just trust the guy. I think they will be all right, Man United. All they've got to do is find a proper style of football. If they want to play on the transition, then the players that do facilitate that kind of play and that format of play should be starting for Erik ten Hag. They've had a disastrous window for a team of their caliber, but 5 is alright for me. 5 is very good. Number 4 is my surprise, and it's Tottenham Hotspur. Ange Postecoglou will take them back to the UEFA Champions League. We might not agree on this one. There are not so many people that have actually said this, but who says no? I mean, defensively, astute. In the midfield, Bissouma is looking much better. And in the attack, Heung-min Son is scoring goals again. Okay, they lack a striker. I mean, Richarlison cannot be relied on. So, Dejan Kulusevski, Heung-min Son, the goals they score are going to be absolutely very, very key for them. But with James Maddison, creating, with Pedro Porro creating, I think Tottenham Hotspur, without any football in all these other European competitions, there will be a problem. And again, another prediction, Tottenham Hotspur will score 6 goals in a game this campaign. And that game could come very soon. It could be coming very soon. It could be as soon as this weekend. They will score 6. They look good. They absolutely look good. My best player at Tottenham right now is Destin Udogie. This guy has revolutionized the way you look at a left back at Tottenham Hotspur. He's absolutely phenomenal. Number 3 is Liverpool. They have actually had my signing of the summer so far. Liverpool, that's Dominic Szoboszlai. The one thing I love about Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp's this campaign is they have just transitioned from a very bad season into a very good start to the campaign. Like, these are 2 different Liverpool sides. The one we saw last campaign, where you couldn't tell whether they would score, you couldn't tell whether they would go again without conceding, and you couldn't tell whether they could actually hold on to the ball for a couple of seconds. That's a very different Liverpool side from the one of McAllister, Szoboszlai. Darwin Núñez is much better. Mohamed Salah looks like a leader now. And probably the defensive shambles will be something to talk about. And maybe when the UCL starts and, they are not in the UCL. When the Europa League starts and they're playing Thursday and Saturday, or Thursday and Sunday, that could take some toll out of them. But for now, Liverpool, number 3. And number 2, I've gone with Arsenal. I just don't see them win the Premier League. I don't see us win the Premier League, especially with the UCL. I kind of feel like Mikel Arteta likes tinkering a lot. And in a league where there is Pep Guardiola, you're either sure or you're not sure. And for Mikel Arteta right now, he's not sure. And if you're not sure, you don't beat Pep Guardiola. So number 1, I've gone with Manchester City. The new system actually is complicated for people to understand, and very complicated, even to myself. This guy is playing with almost 5 centre-backs. Why? I'm not really sure. When is this going to actually start working? And, for us to see Manchester City playing entertaining football, I'm not really sure as well. But I like the signing of Jeremy Doku. It's just a player that gives them something different. Now, Riyad Mahrez is that kind of guy that drifts inside from the wings and will have a curler. He will have a shot inside the penalty area. He's kind of an inverted striker, an inverted winger. With Jeremy Doku, he's got 2 things. He's got the ability to beat you 1v1, but then he's got the ability to just go to the byline and, cross it in. I mean, wise signing. Very, very good signing. So that is my 20 to 1 City will win it again. Arsenal in number 2. They will oscillate with Liverpool, and Tottenham Hotspur will come in the top 4. I mean, if it happens, it will be kind of genius from me. I'll speak to you right in the next one.